I'm doing this live because my camera is dead. I know I look an absolute mess still. My camera's dead. Wow, I'm getting like all nervous because I don't know that I'm really ready to talk. But I'm going to anyway, and it's okay. Um, anyway, so, um, wow, I didn't think I would get this tongue-tied. That's okay. So as some of you know from the last videos I posted, oh, I was saying this is going to be live because I don't have my camera stuff. Anyway, so some of you may know from the last video that I posted that I was going through I was at a hotel waiting for Hurricane Michael to come through my area. So anyway, like I said, I believe in the last video, I don't want to go specifically into where I live, obviously. I'm on a social media platform and don't want to put that out there. But I can tell you on Monday, I don't remember the date exactly. I'll have to check. Let me see real quick. What was Monday? Let's look at this calendar. Okay, Monday the 8th. I'll just preface this with, you guys see the title. I just want to share my story. I know that a lot of people went through much worse. I know a lot of people didn't go through as bad, but this is just my story, just to share with you guys and document what happened. So anyway, I know this is going to be all over the place being live. It's just a little hard. I honestly didn't think it was going to be kind of hard to talk about. But anyway, so on Monday the 8th, my family decided to start packing up and leaving town because of the impending hurricane. So we were actually going to leave Tuesday, but my husband ended up getting called off work because the restaurant that he works at was beginning to board up and prepare to evacuate. And my mom was already under a mandatory evacuation because she's closer to the shore. So we began to pack up. My husband got off work. We said, you know what, let's just be safe. We have the baby. Let's just get out of here. So we drove about an hour and 10 minutes from where we live, right along the shore. My mom lives closer. I'm a little more to the side. But we drove about an hour, 10 minutes north and stayed at this hotel. And let's see, I have my notes here. So we packed everything. I packed tons of food because I was like, the least that's going to happen is I'm sure we're going to have power going out. So even if we're returning, at least I'll have food that was staying cold and prepared. But I packed maybe some, lounge clothes for myself and my husband. And it wasn't, I honestly didn't think it was that big a deal. I don't remember the name of the hurricane last time, but we had more of a tropical storm go through our area when it was last year, I believe. And we went west, and nothing happened to our town at all. So I was figuring the same thing, no big deal, just pack a couple t-shirts, lounge pants, and that was it. So, and just a bunch of food and water, figuring, at least we'll get the power out. So we went, and that was that evening. Tuesday comes, we're still kind of chilling around, looking at the weather, kind of looking at the area. I think we took a trip to Walmart to get a couple more things, no big deal. And it was kind of like an adventure, we're all getting to hang out with our families. We used to call it like hurricane parties, or up north we used to say, snowstorm parties. They just all get together and hunker down, no big deal. So anyway, Tuesday night we started, talking about, okay, what are we going to do when the weather comes through? Just kind of hunkering down and watching the windows. And I started getting a little more nervous watching the path of the hurricane. And just seeing that it's continuing to go closer and closer to where we live. And it was really hard because we're like, well, should we just go down to Orlando where my in-laws live But, you know, you watch the tracks of previous hurricanes, and while they're in the ocean, there's just so many options for them. They can go straight up, they can take a left, there's just so many options. And if we went down to Orlando and it took a turn, then we're stuck down there and yada, yada, yada. We just prayed about it and decided, no, this building is safe, we'll be fine. So anyway, Tuesday night, we, just prayed before we went to bed and got up the next morning. We started to see the wind, and I did take some clips, but since this is live, I won't be able to insert them. Anyway, it started to get windy, and we just started discussing, okay, if it starts getting bad, what are we going to do? My dad went to talk to the owner, and he's like, these walls are sturdy. It made it through the last really big hurricane in the 80s. It's going to be fine, but if you wanted to go downstairs on a lower level, maybe do that. And we had some friends staying with us in a hotel room below us. So we were like, you know what, if it starts getting bad, we'll go downstairs. So it started getting windy, it started getting pretty bad, and I didn't want to take the baby out and wait longer if it was going to get worse to go downstairs. So we all decided, hey, listen, we'll go into the hotel room downstairs and see how that goes. Just hunker down together down there. Wow, my heart's racing just replaying this in my mind. It's awful. So anyway, we decided to go downstairs into the hotel room, and we were watching videos because it was beginning to make landfall in town where we live and the neighboring cities. So we're watching, and we're just seeing, already the destruction. There's one video I'll never be able to get out of my mind. I was watching these newscasters driving down a street I drive down every single day, and they made a turn just looking at the wind and the flooding and so on and so forth, and they made a turn and were blocked, and they turned around and were blocked again. And so they just pulled into this tiny little space next to a house and were completely barricaded. They couldn't do anything, and the water was coming in. So they started panicking and freaking out, and I think they broke into the house that they pulled next to stay safe, and that just terrified me. I decided I couldn't look at anything anymore. It was just awful. So anyway, so I stopped watching those, stopped looking at the updates that were just absolutely awful. People saying, my windows are breaking in, and all the people who stayed just praying for them because the updates we were getting were just awful. It was terrifying, and the storm wasn't even at where we were yet. So anyway, sorry, this video is going to be forever, but I'm just telling my story. So anyway, we were in the room. I decided to stop updating myself, but the conversation continued to be had, and I was just like, blocking my ears. I couldn't listen to it anymore. It was starting to, really freak me out. Meanwhile, trying to take care of my 1.5-year-old, and my husband is an absolute saint. He was absolutely amazing. Just, watching her and helping with her. Everybody was. We were all just working together. I was among the best people I could be among. So that was good. And then the next part is where the worst happened. I don't remember everyone who saw it, but I believe it was my aunt and my sister and somebody else who was standing by the window. And at this point, we had lifted one mattress up against the windows, in case anything flew in. And they're standing by the window, and I didn't see it. I just heard it, which was just as awful. No, probably not just as awful. But my sister had watched the roof. Our hotel was an L shape, and we're over here downstairs, and you could see out the window the roof of the other side of it. And she saw the roof peel off and fly towards them, directly towards them. And the sound of that was just awful, along with the wind. And you just hear stuff start to clash, and things smash. And And just skipping forward a little bit, all of those pieces tore apart and banged into things. My mother's fathers and brothers were the only ones, but kind of ironic, or were the only vehicles that got smashed into by these things. So I'm not sure if any are totaled at this point, but weren't drivable. So you just heard that all going on. And I'm just beside myself at this point. I took my daughter into the bathroom, and I had to just plug my ears and sing to her. And I was trying to play with her as much as I could. But what happened in my mind, I just came across all these scenarios, every time, like I would just for a second open my ears to either talk to somebody or do something. You heard, what sounded like train crashes and wind blowing everywhere and things smashing into each other and the building, shaking, not shaking, but you felt the vibrations, especially in the bathroom. I have my back against the wall and I'm feeling the vroom, vroom. And I'm just picturing all these scenarios. If the water comes in, will I be able to lift her high enough and hold my breath high enough? If it starts to flood us, will I be able to protect her in that way? Or, if we all have to get into the bathroom, are we all going to fit, the 12 of us that were in there? If things start smashing around, will I be able to hold her long enough to where she's protected? It was rough. And she has no clue what's going on, which I guess was a good thing. If she was any older, she probably would have had an idea and would have been terrified. But anyway, if any of you have been through a traumatic experience with a younger one, you're just, especially out of control, you're just wondering, how are you going to protect yourself in order to protect them? And what are you going to be able to do to protect them? So, I'm sure a lot of my family was confused of like, why aren't you just sitting holding her and just watching her play and smile at me and have no clue what's going on while I'm wondering how I'm going to keep her alive? There's no feeling like it at all. So that's why, I was letting other people play with her. It was hard to look at her smiling at me and wondering, is this the last experience that I'm going to have? So I don't know if my family thinks that's crazy or like I was overreacting or what, but it was terrifying. And I walked out for a second and noticed that both queen mattresses and both box springs were up against the window. Water was coming in from both sides, and the constant wind and smashing that was going on around us. And I have to think, all of my family was fantastic, but it's hard when you even look to, your parents or anybody else and you're asking them, are we going to be okay? And they say it, yeah, everything's going to be fine. We're praying. Everything's going to be fine. But you see in their eyes that they're not even sure. They're not even sure if we're going to make it out. And this is an hour away from shore. I can't even imagine what my friends and family who were there went through. I can't even fathom it. But anyway, so that went on until about 7 o'clock, and I actually came out, and my sister had come in and she was holding my face and she said, it's gonna be okay, it's gonna be okay, this is gonna be over soon. And that really helped. And again, my mom saying, it's gonna slow down, and everybody just reassuring each other, even though none of us were even sure of what was gonna happen. So yeah, wow. So between 3 o'clock when we went downstairs at 7, that's 4 hours of sheer terror that was going on. 4 hours. And I'm just like, I need this to be over. I need this to be over. I need this to be over. Trying to make sure I didn't pass out. Sick to my stomach. We're all taking turns in the bathroom. Anyway, so about 7:30 is when I came out of the bathroom. So 4 hours pretty much in there. and it started to slow down a little, but you still have the wind gusts that came in and started whipping around continuously. So I'm just trying to, stay focused of it's going to end soon, it's going to end soon, it's going to end soon. So anyway, one thing around 7:30 is when we decided to go back to our room, which also had flooding, which was on the top floor, but just from the wind and rain coming in. I had a talk with my husband. He was saying, he was like, you need to figure out what it is that gets to your core when intense things like this happen. He's like, I don't know if it's the baby, I don't know if it's just you or what you're afraid of. And this was all in a loving way. And I figured out that, when I can't do anything, when you're on your own and you lose control, it's like, oh, I can't do anything to help me. And it's tough. But when you're like, I can't do anything for my family that's surrounding me, I can't do anything for my daughter, I have zero control in this situation. I'm in a tiny little bathroom and things are banging around me and I have zero control against 100+ miles an hour or 90 miles an hour, however fast it got, winds. I have zero control over that. And, through our day-to-day lives, when we lose control of a situation, whether it's, our finances or this or that, we can say, okay, well, I'll give it to God, but you still think, eventually I'm going to get the control back. But in this situation, I had zero control at all. And that's, where it comes in. He's like, well, at that point, you really, really have to give it up to God, and just trust and have full faith that it's all in his plan, whether the result is good or bad. So anyway, that finally got my heart rate back to normal of, yeah, that's really what I do. Just give it. So anyway, but it was still terrifying probably until midnight that night because there's still things banging around. You still hear glass and smashing and all that kind of stuff. So someone ended up helping my parents and getting their lights on and able to charge our phones. We were losing service and everything. And I finally got some sleep. Fast forward to Thursday morning, we decided to leave and go down to Orlando with my in-laws. But going through the roads, there's just trees everywhere. Trees down, lines down, no service, no power, gas stations emptied. Just looking at the pictures online, I obviously, because this is live, I won't be able to insert clips, but I did pull up some pictures, and this is where I am every day. I drive by. It wasn't a direct hit to my area, but this is, let's see if I can switch around. I am in this place every day. I pass these houses. I go to these places. This is where I live. With every kind of crazy situation, you think this is never going to happen to me. It's just, it's devastating. And I'm not even home yet, and I can't even experience it myself. But these are people I talked to. We live in a small town. I know these people. I know these people who have lost homes. I know these businesses. It's just, and this is the internet. I don't know if every single picture is our town specifically, but most of them are, and this is this last one. Let's see here. The Cape was torn apart. Marinas are torn apart. Let's see if I could get, I'm at these places. This is a street I go down daily. This is all, this is my home. These are my friends' homes. I was very, 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 very blessed that nothing happened to my house. and my family is actually there now, using their gifts and helping. And it was really hard for me. Everybody's posting prayers with people, we're helping, and I'm just so quiet. Thank you. That means a lot. I'm not even imagining it yet. It's crazy. So especially with the baby, there's not much I can do. There's still no gas. They're handing out food, but there's not, a grocery yet. Places are slowly getting power, slowly getting water, but they're worried about bacteria. So it's still not a livable place. So that's why we're in Orlando now with my in-laws. And just letting my family stay in my house because there's trees all over their yard. God protected them, though. There's a tree that protected them from all the flooding and everything. But it's just still devastated. But there's so many people helping each other, handing out food, handing out clothes, offering people to wash their clothes, going through. And if anyone is interested in helping and you're like, I don't know what to do to help, there's nothing to do to help. Several people have started fundraisers. My parents started a fundraiser, and I'm just so lucky and blessed to have the family I have, because they're not even going off after their house right now. They're taking those funds and buying diapers and food and water for people, and just going to help people clear out their houses, and doing as much as they can for them before they do themselves. I'm just so humbled. But so if you just search on Facebook, there's so many different fundraisers, GoFundMe's, and if you wanted to help there, you can. Prayer is definitely needed. They're very strong. It's going to be a while until it's all back to normal. I'm probably not even going to go home until the end of the week, but I'm doing the best that I can from here. Sorry, I know this video is really, really long. But what's hard is, being a person of faith when things like this happen. You're like, okay, well, it's all fine. It's going to be fine. But we need to realize something too. If God is our comfort, if he's our healer, if he's all these things, we need to let ourselves get to that place first. If we're already healed and already happy and don't let ourselves mourn or be upset, then God can't be that for us. So letting yourself get to that place, I think, is really important. For the longest time, like, it's okay, everything's going to be fine. And there's no outreach to God in that. You need to let yourself get to that place before you, if you're going to allow God to heal you, if you're going to allow God to comfort you. So I think, if there's anybody from home experiencing that same thing, let God do that for you. It's good to be faithful and strong and everything, but we are allowed to break down as well. And even talking about this kind of thing was really, really big for me. But anyway, that's my story. I don't want to go on forever and ever. I don't know if this video will even upload. But just continue to pray for my town and the surrounding towns, Panama City and Mexico Beach. We're right by there. But just continue to pray for those people. We're going to get back up and running. And yeah, so I think that's it. Let's see. Thank you, Bernadette. That really, really means a lot. I appreciate you guys so much. I don't know when I'm gonna get normal videos back up. Obviously, my mind has been elsewhere. I don't have my camera. I do have my camera, but it's dead. I don't have my charger. I don't have a lot of the stuff that I never imagined that I would be gone. It's actually a week ago today. I never imagined I'd be gone this long. So I may put some videos up from my phone. I'm not really sure yet. But I will get back to you guys as soon as I can. I love you all and hope you are all doing well in your lives and your journeys. And if any of you watching this have been affected by this storm, my prayers are with you, and we're going to get through this. And if there's anything my family who is down there can do for you, just hit me a message. If anybody's worried about anything or needs anything, I will send them out. They'll be happy to help. That's it for this video. I love you guys. Bye.